Hello VC, what you all been up to? I know I've been collecting a few too many records over the summer. This is the first half of the pile I've picked up for July. I've decided to split it into two separate bundles because there were way too many records to do in one shot. I guess I'll pick it up with an album from 1957 by Buddy Cole called Pipes, Pedals, and Fidelity. It's a jazz space age album. And another strangity I picked up from 1958 called Elsa Popping and her Pixieland Band, the Delirium in Hi-Fi. It's a 1958 album, it's jazz and again space age. Then a little classical set, it's on an Angel pressing, so it's a mediocre quality. It's a Brahms German Requiem. It's obviously a classical pressing. And then I found another Woody Herman album. It's called Woody Herman 1964. It's from 1964 and it's a jazz big band album. And I finally found a Buffy Sainte Marie album called Many a Mile. I've always liked Buffy. This one I think is from 1965, a folk album, I'm not actually positive. I don't know what year it was from. Next up would be a couple of Moody Blues albums. I've got picked up a Days of Future Past. This one's 1960s.
I couldn't find any Moody Blues albums.
Thanks, Alexa. Okay, that threw me off. I picked up a Moody Blues album, A Days of Future Past. This one's from 1967, it's a psych album. And I also at the same time picked up In Search of the Lost Chord. This one is a gatefold album. And it was from 1968. Okay, next was Arthur, I don't know how to pronounce this, Prysock? I'm guessing. Arthur Prysock, I must be doing something right. It's another jazz album from 1968. And I think that one needs to be washed. Okay, then there's, okay, this is interesting. I don't know who did this album. Okay, it just says Stanford Robertson conducting the new Symphony Orchestra of London. It's called In a Monastery Garden and other Kettleby favorites. This one is from 1968 and is classical, obviously. And then the Vivaldi, oh really? Okay, Vivaldi pressing of the Four Seasons. It's another classical from 1969. And we picked up a Fifth Dimension individually and collectively. This one from 1971, it's a solo album. I've got to keep reading the dates off my lists because there are way too many albums this time for me to remember what I've done. This one was followed by Dionne Warwick, A Decade of Gold. Oops, I'm going to drop it. Dionne Warwick, A Decade of Gold album. It is a gatefold from her in concert through the years. Oh my god, it's going to fall out. And that one's from 1971. It's a soul double album. Yeah, it is a double album. For a moment I thought it was a single. Okay, next up was, here we are, an album called Focus 3 by the band Focus. This is a prog rock album from 1972. And next one is a Jerry Ellis album called Newfoundland Songs for Newfoundlanders. It's gatefold of folk songs from 1973. And a couple of Don Harron albums called Charlie Farquharson Prehistorical Canada. These are comedy albums. This one's from '73, and the next one by Don Harron was called Open Mouth. It is a comedy album from 1974. Actually quite funny. And then I picked up a rather seemingly rare album by Ray Broderick called The True Newfoundlander. And it was a folk album from 1974. Okay, next one is Ferdinand Jerry Roll Morton. And it's a Dick Hyman Transcriptions for Orchestra. It's a 1974 jazz swing ragtime album, of all things. Then I managed to pick up another Woody Herman album called The Best of Woody Herman. It's another gatefold double album. And it was from 1975, again, jazz big band, and this is going to fall off my table. Okay, where did I leave off? Okay, next album was by a fellow called Nestor Pister No. 2. It's called Here We Go Again. It's a comedy album from 1975. And then a Joan Baez album called Diamond and Rust from 1975. Well, I don't collect too many Rogers albums, but this is the second time I've picked up an album by Evie. It's just called Evie again. She's a Desmond Rogers gospel singer from 1975. And, I missed removing a piece of tape from this one. It's an album called Links, The Missing Links. It's a hard rock album from 1976. And a disco album. I picked up very few disco albums. This one just sort of fell into my lap. By Amanda Lear. It's called Sweet Revenge. And I'm almost, well, let's see if I can cover up part, yeah, okay. Don't really want to open up the inside because she did pose topless on the inside cover. So I don't really want to pop that over the tube. Okay, that's the first half of the albums I collected for just July. I'll be back with the second half shortly. And as always, like, comment, share, subscribe if you will, and see you around on the tube thing. Bye-bye.